if chasing tuna is something you're looking at getting into, but you don't want to have to pay the big prices on some of the bigger lures, then this is the episode for you, because I'm going to show you how to make one of perhaps the most dynamite tuna lures for under $4. That's right, under $4. Stick around. Well, you definitely know you're in Perth when you got sirens going in the background and so forth. Certainly makes a big difference to being out bush. But look, today we're going to talk about making your own tuna lure, because at the moment the weather has certainly kicked in. Winter is here. So what better time to spend a bit of time prepping for the upcoming tuna rush that's sure to hit the Perth, Lancelin and so forth shores in the August, September sort of area. Now, what are you going to need to make these lures? Simple. Little squid skirts. This one here is 7.5 centimeters. Your favorite little hooks there. In this case, for small tuna like we're going to be getting, and I'm going to be chasing, I'm going to be using the really light gauge, live bait hooks from Owner. You're going to need a single bead, some little crimps. This here is just nylon coated wire. I use wire just in case, no real reason. 40 pound on that one. And here's the secret. Welding tips. These ones here are Top Gun welding tips. They're 0.9 of a mil wire. You get a pack of 10 of these for about $1.50. All right, if you look around. So that's what really keeps these lures cheap. But anyway, let's get into making one. So what we're going to do first is we are going to get one of these little welding tips out. Okay, because this is going to be the foundation of the weight that's going to help this trolling lure get down and stay just subsurface and break the surface all the time. Because if we were to just troll this skirt by itself, it's just going to skip across the surface and do nothing great. By adding a tiny little welding head, it solves all those issues and it gets it ducking under the water and creating that bubble trail you want it to make. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, you'll see on the tip of this little squid skirt here, we're just going to take the top of the tip off. Now what we're looking to do is just create the tiniest little hole, and I don't know whether you can see that. A set of these pliers, these are just Berkeley bent nose pliers with a little crimping section and cutters on it, are perfect for this job. Now what we want to do is we just want to get a little bit of the multi-strand nylon coated wire here. I'm just going to cut a little bit off, it's nothing special. So right, that cuts that off, and there you have your wire there. What we're going to do at the bottom of this wire is we're just going to quickly tie in a double overhand knot, so it looks like that, and pull that tight. Now this has only got one purpose, this little tiny bit of wire, and that is to put up there, straight up the head, and that is what we are going to pull this into the skirt with. Because what we want to do here, I'm sorry I'm not looking at the camera, but we're going to pull that up the center of the skirt like this. Okay, and now that welding tip is hard up against this tiny little hole that we made with the back of the welding head there. Pull this wire back out. Now this is essentially now your trolling lure. This here is going to be perfect to troll it up to 15 knots even, and it will get whacked. Trust me, we caught that many tuna on these last season, it wasn't funny. So now what we want to do is get to the rigging part, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to rig these lures. I probably should have prepped this before, because it does take a bit to unravel, but we should be pretty right. You don't need this too long. I probably don't mind making this, I guess, four turns of the total spool, and I mean that would probably give me about the 80 centimeter mark. Okay, I'm just going to chop that there. Okay, so we need to pull out one of our Owner hooks here, and we'll get that out. Now this is only a 3/0, so it's a very small sized hook, but the tuna that I'm going to be chasing with this little live bait hook here are only little jelly bean tuna, and these hooks here, because they've got the cutting point, are super sharp, and they can actually handle that really fast whack of a tuna at high speeds. Okay, this is as simple as it gets. Straight through the eye of the hook. Okay, just like that. Now there's going to be game fishing guys that are going to tell me I'm doing it wrong, and that's okay. We've all got our own way this works. Simple overhand knot like that. Okay, then go through again. So we've gone through double overhand like that, And then all I'm going to do is just go back through the eye of the hook. So now that hook is dangling at the bottom of that knot. Hold the hook while holding both tag ends, okay? So pinch the hook, both tag ends, and pull it tight. And what you want to do, you just want to work that tight so it cinches up to be really small, okay? And that just takes a bit of fiddling, bit of pulling, but make sure, the most important thing I've found is make sure you're pulling both of these ends here of the wire at the same time, and just work it down till you get a nice little bit like that. Now we are on an Osmo or GoPro, whichever you prefer to call them. It is an Osmo. So the close-up shots are not fantastic on this, but that's okay, we can work with it. Get one of your crimping sleeves and on we go. Okay, slide that right down. And then we want to go over both tag ends, or the tag end I suppose, and then your main wire. And we're going to pull this sleeve here all the way down to on top of there. Okay, and that's where we're going to get our crimping pliers or any pliers with crimping capabilities, and just squash that sleeve. So as you can see there, if you can, we've squashed that sleeve, and that is all you need. Because you've tied that knot around the hook, it means that the line is simply not going to slip out of that crimp. That crimp is really just a fail safe, and as I said, we've trawled these at up to 15 knots, had full hookups at 15 knots, never bent a hook and never had one of these knots pull. So if you do know better ways to do it, leave a comment below, love to hear it. We're going to get our single bead. Now what the single bead is going to do is act as a spacer for me. Okay, and I'm going to show you why now. So what we essentially want to happen is when this lure is rigged, we want the base of the hook, so the bottom of the turn of the hook, to be level with the base of the skirt there. So when the tuna come up and just touch it, they're on. It's game over. Okay, now this, let's cut it again to get a nice clean edge so this goes well. We're just going to go straight up through the center of that welding tip, okay? Which, having a bit of problems getting it in the hole. Don't usually have that problem. There we go. So up it goes. That flies down, okay? And essentially, as you can see there, the base of that hook is right here, right at the base of that skirt. So that is absolutely perfect. What we're going to do at the top, some guys might like to tie a swivel in, but I just like doing the exact same knot that we tied over the hook there. Okay, but this time we don't need to thread anything through it, so we go 1, 2 to create that again. Then I pull the tag end, and all I'm doing is just working this little knot right up. Okay, we want that to get that right up close. And being in a rush, then I've completely destroyed this knot. And it shows the importance. We'll start again because we don't want it to look that rubbish. It shows the importance of taking your time and doing it properly, okay? Because if you don't do it properly, it's only going to cost you a fish. So we'll actually put a bit of concentration in this one. Once, twice, work that up, really nice and neat. Okay, and that's how it should turn out there. As you can see, nice and neat. We're just going to slide that crimp straight back up over the two lines again. Okay, and then you can really pull it down on the crimp, as you can see there. Crimp that right off. Okay, cut your leader ends, or your tag ends, and there you have a beautiful little trolling skirt. Now the reason I choose clear skirts is because, as you can see that brass coming through there, which really does look good. You've got the little red bead, which probably isn't an attractant, but these skirts also obviously have a bit of lumo down the back there and all the sparkle and whatnot in them. But essentially this little lure here is the only lure you need to chase these beautiful little jelly bean tuna, because a lot of the time the tuna are only chasing bait that are a couple of inches long, if that. So by making a 75mm little tiny trolling lure, you're literally matching the hatch. I mean, that there at high speed just looks like a little bit of bait fish fleeing. Guys, that's exactly how you make one of the most dynamic tuna lures for trolling for under $4. So just to break that down quickly, probably 10 heads for $1.50, so we're looking at 15 cents. Okay, we've got a short length of leader, we've got two little crimps, a bead, and a hook. Doesn't get much easier than that, guys. Alright, I want to see how you guys go with this lure. Let me know down in the comments if you've made these before or whether or not you've got your own personal spin on it. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Until the next episode, get rigging in this terrible weather, and we'll see you soon. Catch you later.